XRP to the moon. We got this epic pump here. And I warned you guys right here that we were going to get more pump. And I'll show you the proof here. So take a look at my previous video. This is why you want to subscribe to this channel. I'll show you here right here. Got to do some audio. Good. Here we go. And take a look at the title of this video on the bottom. XRP appears to be breaking out. This was 5 days ago. I was letting y'all know. Check it out. XRP appears to be breaking out, meaning it has been below this trend line. And it's also mostly been below this line of resistance here for months and months and months. And now it is having a big breakout here. Now let's look even closer. So if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we are making, let's zoom in here. We are making a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, another higher low, and we're making a higher high now. This is a very bullish position. Okay, and I mean, yeah, this is looking very, very good. If we look at, okay, so I told you guys in that video 5 days ago that we were breaking out higher. That is exactly what we got right here. Not so bad. And then I also want to show y'all really quick a video I made right about here. Yeah, I think let's see. I think it was in October. I think it was right about there before this huge breakout. Let me find that video right here. And here's what I was saying back then. You know, if we are getting a nice transit right, this month, could it just shoot out with Jupiter conjuncting the XRP Venus? It's possible. Yeah, so I was saying it's possible that we go to a big breakout. And that's what we got here, guys. Boom. All right, so the astrology combined with the technical analysis doesn't lie. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, but man, I've been getting about 80% accuracy for a long, long time now. So just to show you all that the proof is in the pudding, I'm not just talking to myself about this. Okay, so let's get the audio. There we go. And so what shall we talk about today? Well, is this move going to continue? Are we just going to shoot straight up from here? Are we going to bump up to, $4.50? Or are we going to do more sideways action? So let's talk about that today. I also want to, so we'll also be looking at the XRP astrology, as that's what we do on this channel. So for people that are open to astrology, you're going to love this, as it can give us quite an edge on the markets. And then, man, this is looking really good. So this is XRP versus Bitcoin instead of XRP versus the US dollar. And let's zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. And you see that overall, so this is all the way back to 2013. So we bottomed right here in 2014. Then we made a double bottom 2017. And we got the huge rally. Then the next cycle we bottomed in 2020, right before a little run up, and then we bottomed again in October of last year. So first time we got double bottom and then massive rally. Second, here we go, 2020 and 2024, double bottom. Could we get another massive rally? That is the question. Now, the really interesting thing is if you take a look at this white line right here. So this white line, and we've been sitting under that line ever since 2019. Very, very long time we've been under that. And if we are able to, so you see where we're at right now. Whoopsies, hold on. We are sitting right here. So we tapped this white line, major resistance, January of this year. And if we can get back up to that line, This is versus Bitcoin, so I'm not sure what the XRP price would be at that point. But man, if we can get through that white line, and better yet, if we break through there, we could really get a major move up. A rocket ship. Now we did go above it a little bit in, when was this? November 2020. And also May 2020. So there's also a chance that we could get major resistance there. But if we are able to break through that line and have a weekly close above it, then that would be extremely bullish for XRP. We could be heading to maybe even above $8. Okay, I know a lot of people are calling for like $20 XRP, but man, we would have to get a weekly and a monthly close above this white line before there's any hope for that. Okay. So that is very important. Now we could look at, well, we're about to get a weekly close here. Yeah. So it looks like we're going to get another weekly close above the previous all-time high, which is really, really good. Let's even compare it all the way back to, so if we look at the all-time high back in 2018, did it get to $3.53? That's wild. Let's check this other chart. This one got to only $3.30. So depending on what exchange we're looking at, we're getting an all-time high, but the prices vary on different exchanges because it's based on supply and demand. But let's look at the total market cap, as this chart is a lot more accurate. As we can see, we have been above the previous all-time high for a long time now. And so we're making new all-time highs. So yeah, it's very good to look at this chart. And we just made a weekly close to make a new all-time high on the total market cap. And the next weekly close could be the next highest weekly close ever for XRP. So that's very, very good. Let's clean this chart up a little bit. Now, it's possible we could backtest this previous all-time high here at 195 billion market cap, but it's not guaranteed and not necessary. Okay, and we could take a look at the stochastic RSI. Okay, it's going way up, as we would expect. And if the RSI, if we can get way up here, that would be very good. All right, so let's take a look at the XRP Astrology. So we do a lot of that on this channel. See if we can get an edge on the markets. So the good news is, let's go here. We're going to go into August here. Someone asked me like the next week for XRP. It was looking overall pretty good. Venus conjuncting the XRP Mercury on the 22nd, tomorrow, which is looking good. And we actually get a bunch of positive transits towards the end of July. 1, 2, 3. These are all positive. And even to August 2nd, August 3rd, August 4th. So that could bring further upside for XRP in the next week. And then we get a major transit, Jupiter sextiling the XRP Mars on August 18th. That's really good. The only thing is we have two charts for XRP. Now, I think this chart's more accurate, but other astrologers, well, another astrologer I know thinks this one's more accurate for some reason. So I also double check this one to see if there's any correlations. Now, this one's a lot more bearish for the next week, because particularly we get this major, potentially bearish, but it's not guaranteed, Uranus squaring the XRP Neptune. Uranus, the planet of technology and crypto is making a hard square to Neptune, the planet that can bring confusion. And markets don't typically like confusion. That's on July 28th. So this one's a bit more bearish. So we don't see a strong correlation between the two charts, which just makes it more tricky. Yeah, and this one's just overall more bearish. We have a couple Saturn squaring the XRP Sun on August 28th, and then Jupiter squaring the XRP Moon on the 28th. So August 28th is really bearish on this chart. So if XRP continues to go up, it could be, I would be considering to take more profits. But none of this content is financial investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please make your own decisions. Crypto can be risky. And I can only say what I'm doing, but you have to make your own financial decisions. And so I would be considering taking profits maybe in the next couple weeks. I have been taking a little bit of profits just to put in some other projects that I've been interested in. Other crypto projects that still haven't pumped. But man, August is looking a lot more bearish on the this XRP chart compared to the other one. So it just makes it a bit more tricky here. This is the initial one that we were looking at. This is looking a lot better. And so if XRP kind of goes off of this one more, we could continue a run up to August 18th. But that would be kind of the max that I'd be willing to wait, because I mean, there's a slight chance it could go all the way to September 7th, as we're also getting a really nice transit there with Jupiter trining the XRP Moon on September 7th, which could indicate a market peak. However, I'm very concerned about that time because we get a total lunar eclipse. And historically, when we've gotten total lunar eclipses, it has just completely demolished crypto. So if we look back at Bitcoin, look at the blue vertical lines. Look very carefully at the blue vertical lines, just the blue. And this is when we got bear markets and major dumps. So 2022, major bear market. We got 2 lunar eclipses. 2018 and the beginning of 2019, major bear market. And then again, I mean, it's just amazing how accurate this is. September 2014, 2015, major bear market. And then the only time we got a pump, the total lunar eclipse, was 2011, but XRP didn't even exist back then. So basically total, not just any lunar eclipse, total lunar eclipses are extremely bearish historically. And then the last one we had was in March, and we got a big dump. Bitcoin dumped from 109,000 all the way down to 76K. Major dump. Now the good news is we did not get a bear market, as we've gotten new all-time highs since then. So that's very, very good. But then we have this total lunar eclipse coming up on September 7th, which is a big, big concern, which is why it's particularly with altcoins, I will probably be selling before September 7th. Probably at least 30% of my bags. That's just what I'm thinking. So the fact that we're getting a little bit of mixed correlations between the two XRP astrology charts just makes me think, you know, as we head closer into August, and if we continue to get strength at XRP, I would be thinking about taking more profits. Now, a lot of people are asking, like, well, what are your price targets? I mean, we could look at we could look at this chart here. So this is the total market cap. What we could do is take a Fibonacci line, take it from the high of January to the low of April. And then we expand out and we look at the 1.618 Fibonacci. And I previously made these potential price targets. So we have like 4.36. So basically this is the total market cap. All right, this is the market cap of XRP, but then you have to convert it into the XRP prices based on the supply of XRP. So I ran some basic calculations. So we have various levels here: $4.33, $5.96, $7.57, $8.56 for a potential peak. So I might be selling around these levels, maybe 20% each for each of these levels, something like that. But particularly if we move up in August and we get to $4.36, I'll probably be selling some. And then if we get to, I might even choose around $5, but it looks like it could even get to $5.96. If we get there in August, I'll definitely be taking, if we get to $5.96, I'll probably be taking 50% profits, honestly. Because then I could put that into other coins if there's other coins I haven't run yet. But I'll probably be holding that in cash, especially as we head into this total lunar eclipse here at this blue line. It's like I was saying, there's a big concern there. September is not looking good. And historically, September has been a terrible month for crypto, in addition to having a total lunar eclipse. All right, so I think that made that very clear. Now, if we look out even further with the astrology, what happens beyond September for XRP? Well, things get pretty good. I mean, right after September, we get Saturn sextiling the XRP Jupiter. So there is even a potential that XRP continues to Q4 to potentially be bullish. And we do get Uranus conjunct the XRP Jupiter, which could be potentially very bullish that on December 31st. So really interesting that this can continue into Q4. Then we go to the other XRP chart. And this tends to look better later on in the year as well. At least, well, September doesn't look good, but we do get Saturn sextiling the XRP Mars on October 16th and January 7th. So, but before we get ahead of ourselves, I definitely want to wait and see what happens in August and September before we assume that, you know, crypto is going to continue to go on a bull run to Q4. Because, I mean, if Bitcoin hits like 150K in the next month, that could be it. That could even be the end of the bull run. So we'll have to see how crazy things get in the next month to see if we get a blow off top. And particularly is the crypto, like is Coinbase going to be ranked #1 in the crypto apps? Because the last time we got readings that high, Bitcoin was peaking out and it was actually a sell signal, arguably. Actually, it was #1 in February of this year, which was a great sell signal. And it was also #3 in December, which was near the absolute peak. Particularly the altcoins got smashed after that. So very important. And another interesting note is, I mean, I could almost see XRP behaving like, potentially like Ethereum did back in 2021, where we got new all-time highs here. We got a little bit of resistance, you know, for a few months, or sorry, many weeks before it went off into a blow-off top. And then it got a correction. Let's see. And perhaps something like this could happen in September. And then if we're lucky, if crypto continues after that, we could get another blow off top heading into November of this year. So could we get something like this for XRP? We sure did with Ethereum in 2021. So man, that would be pretty nice. I would like that. Some people were asking me about the XRP ETF being launched. Well, let's compare that to Ethereum. What happened to Ethereum when, let's look back here. What happened to Ethereum when the ETF was approved? Well, the ETF was approved right here in May 2024. Did we get a pump? Did we pump to new all-time highs? No, we got a major dump. It was weird. We got a dump and then a pump. Now, the idea behind this is that investors weren't really interested at this point. People just really institutions wanted to get Bitcoin, and Ethereum was much more secondary. So it did not pump the price. It was actually a buy the rumor, sell the news event. And we have not gotten a new all-time high since then. So we're still waiting on that. So I would not say necessarily that an XRP ETF would be a very guaranteed bullish news. It could be actually a top indicator. So I would actually be very concerned, at least in the short term, about an ETF being approved. I would wait to see how the price reacts. If we get a big dump after it, then maybe it's a good buy, but I'd say it's more of a peak indicator, at least if it behaves at all like Ethereum did. So I wouldn't be getting crazy bullish about that necessarily. However, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news sort of event, like it's happened many, many times. All right, well, if y'all want to get access to more of my content, calling these before crypto like XRP goes to the moon, I also have a private Crypto Astro Mastermind, and you can click the link below. I have 2 spots this month, and normally it's, well, you can take a look at the page here, read the testimonials. I recently came out with some really valuable a presentation on altcoins, and I included Solana, XRP, all the top altcoins, Cardano, Sui. I looked at all of the astrology for all of these altcoins and identified really interesting themes that I was noticing, particularly for September and October, and some things that really surprised me, especially with the Sui astrology, looking out into the rest of this year, as well as Solana astrology and Render astrology. So if you guys want to take a look at that, all you got to do is sign up for this. You get a monthly call with me, and you can request astrology for your favorite altcoins. And then you can ask me whatever questions you have. We do it as a group. You also get access to the private Telegram group where we mastermind about, when I'm buying, when I'm selling, and then other people get to share what they're doing, what they're thinking about in these crypto markets, like-minded, experienced investors. So click the sign up now button, go all the way to the checkout page. You can do full pay or monthly installments. And all you got to do is scroll all the way to the bottom, write the coupon code to the moon. Boom, you should get major savings here. Epic savings. And by the way, this is lifetime access. So you actually get unlimited access if you sign up this month. All you got to pay is just one time, and you get monthly calls with me until the rest of the bull run. All right, I don't know how much more value I can give to this. There's 2 spots left for this lifetime access. Next month, no more lifetime access, and it's going to be an annual payment. And then, soon after that, it'll probably be a monthly payment. So get access to this now. Get access to this ASAP. 2 more spots. I'll see you there. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Let me know what questions you have in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Let's take a look really quick at some commenters. Will there be any retracement in August? I don't know. I can't. There certainly could be. Is XRP pumping? Nope. It's in this little bit of sideways action now. It did already pump, if that's what you're wondering. What about September? September's not looking so great. And I already mentioned that. So rewatch the video if you weren't able to see the beginning. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.